Welcome back to Living Local. Listen to this. In 1984, just 8% of American households owned a personal computer. By 2016, the percentage of households with a computer had increased almost tenfold to 87%. They've become an indispensable part of our lives, and yet they also seem to be a nearly unlimited source of frustrations for a lot of users. From outdated hardware and failed pieces and parts to viruses and malware to concerns about cybersecurity and fraud, you know how exasperating computers can be and the potential dangers that they can pose. Here to talk with us about that is Brian Handley from Computer Evolution. Thanks so much for being here, Brian.
Thanks for having me today.
So give us a little bit of info about your background being in the computer business.
Well, I graduated college as a computer science minor way back 20 some years ago now, and I started working at Computer Renaissance back then, and then I actually bought the business, and I have been running it now since 2003, but the store has been there since 1997.
Wow, so it has a long track record here in the Quad Cities.
Very much so, yes. We've helped a lot of people over the years.
So let's start simple. Let's start with passwords.
Yes.
I know that we hear a lot, you know, how to change them often and different tips. What can you give us for advice on how to make those passwords secure?
The easiest thing that I would tell people is to try to get something that you know. Like even a name of someone, a pet, but usually change at least a character in there. So for example, my name is Brian, maybe change the I to an exclamation point or a 1, the A to an @ symbol, something along those lines, just so that you can kind of remember what it is. But then also a big important thing is to write it down somewhere and keep it safe, because we get so many customers that forget their passwords.
Yeah, absolutely. You have so many different accounts. I mean, I just go on my phone and I have so many different accounts.
Correct.
And of course, each account maybe requires you to have a different type of password. You need an uppercase letter, or it needs to be so many digits long.
Correct, and that's where when you change just one thing here or there, you still remember about what it should be, and so you know, hey, just maybe a 1 or something like that, and it helps you jog your memory.
And Brian, when it comes to viruses and malware, how can computer users protect themselves?
The easiest thing is to read with understanding, because so many times you'll get something that comes up and people just instinctively hit yes or okay, and it just installs. Well, if you read what it's trying to do, a lot of times you can stop bad things from coming in.
And Brian, if a computer has been compromised, what kind of services do you offer to get it back into shape?
We do a variety of different things for all of our customers. So every computer that comes in that has malicious software on it, we go through it thoroughly using several different programs. But the other big thing is that myself and Gabriel, who works with me, we go through it and we know different parts of different things where things hide, and so we'll go through it manually. You can't just rely on just looking and letting a certain program do everything for you. You need to know where to look to get these things out. So.
And Brian, let's talk about cybersecurity. I know we have seen so many cases in the news. I've known individuals who have had their identity stolen from them using one of these devices. So what's the best way to protect yourself?
The best way to protect yourself is, once again, just really being aware of what you're doing when you're on the internet. So many times people will get a pop-up. For example, it'll say, your computer's infected and you need to call me at this 1-800 number. Well, that's the worst thing you can do, because these people are not even in this country most times. There's 3 different ways that kind of scam hits. Some people get cold calls, in which they'll say, oh, your computer's infected, I need you to go on your computer and give me access to your computer. Well, then when they have access to your computer, that's when things can really go awry. I've seen them steal information. I've seen them actually lock people out of their own computers when they don't pay them the absorbent amounts that they really want. The other way is email. People will click on an email, and then when they do that, they can get infected. You should never click on things that you do not know where they're coming from. If you're not sure, just delete it.
Right, if it looks suspicious at all, just stay away.
That's correct.
Delete.
Yeah.
And another question I had is, so let's say you have a device, let's say a laptop or a computer, and it's kind of acting buggy. How do you know whether it requires just like a maintenance or a fix, otherwise, or you just need a completely new device?
Well, what we do is we look at each computer individually. So when we look at one, we want to know how old it is, what kind of specs it has. So for example, how much RAM it has, the hard drive space that it's utilizing, and also the processing power, and make sure that it is up to specs to be able to do the latest operating systems and things like that. So once we look at that, then we can take a look and say, all right, this computer is infected, but it's new enough to be able to still be able to be used in today's standards. So we just clean it up and you're good to go. In other instances, when a customer may bring in a 10-year-old computer, it may not be worth checking it in. It may just be better for them to go ahead and purchase something new to get something more in line with what people are doing today. And what we offer is we will take and transfer all your stuff, all your data, because you can't transfer programs, but all data off of an old machine to a new machine at no cost, to try to make the transition as easy as possible, because that's why people do not upgrade all that often, is because they're afraid, well, this is how this one worked, I need my new one to work that way, and I have no idea how to do that. But we are the experts that do that for all of our customers, so we make sure that they are satisfied and feel good about the purchase before they leave the store.
And that's a great thing that you're able to offer that transfer, because that's been something that has hindered me from getting a new device, because I've had this certain laptop for many years, and there's a lot of pictures and documents on there that I don't want to lose.
And that's what hinders a lot of people, and that's why they tend to hang on to their computers longer, is because they know that computer, and they are familiar with that computer, they know where everything is at, and they're afraid they can't have that with a new computer. But
Fear of
we
change.
take care of that.
You guys can help walk people through that so they're comfortable with it. It just takes a little bit of time. And at Computer Revolution, you also offer custom builds for computers. So what is the primary difference between going in, getting something off the rack, or customization?
Well, for most people, just a standard off-the-rack computer is absolutely fine, because they're just doing the simple things like email, and they're doing documents and spreadsheets and maybe internet. Well, for a lot of people that are into gaming or a business customer, they may have certain applications that need certain pieces of hardware in there. That's where we come in, and we can customize and build any kind of computer for any kind of application. Gamers especially, they need a little bit more of a computer, maybe a higher-end video card, maybe some different things all together in the computer to be able to handle the specs and the needs for doing the video games. And for business customers, they may need a certain port or something like that that we can take care of and make sure that everything is good for them.
So you can talk with a customer, figure out their needs, and then create a product that fits those needs like a puzzle piece.
Absolutely, and that's what we do. All of our towers we custom build in the store. We have about 7 or 8 different SKUs out there that hit most people's needs, but when it is something that is, you need something specific, we can handle it.
Great. And in addition to the computers that you offer, what other types of products and services can people find at Computer Revolution?
Well, we do everything from, like, we have wireless routers for the heavy duty end of it. We also have just basic ones for like grandma and grandpa. We have a full line of different gaming type applications like headphones. We have speakers, we deal with printers, we do it all. We sell laptops, we sell desktops. We are an Apple authorized sales center, so we actually have a full line of Apple products there. But anything that a customer would need for computers, we pretty much have it. We have the stuff, if you wanted to walk in and build your own computer, we have all the stuff right there, from, I mean, absolutely everything from processors, RAM, everything to build your own, so you can customize it and make it your own.
In addition to all of that, you also help business owners create IT systems.
Absolutely.
How does that work?
Well, what we can do is, even if a customer is moving a business or something like that, we can go in and run all new network cable, set up and configure networks, and take care of all of their needs. So we have a lot of our customers that will actually buy block hours, for example, and they'll call us when they need us. We don't necessarily need to go out and take care of things on a regular basis. It's when you need us. It's kind of like having an attorney on retainer.
Right.
When you need us, we show up, we take care of it. But we can handle all the needs from the networking, the hardware, software, everything. We're a total solution provider.
And Brian, lastly, what is the biggest piece of advice you would give computer users to keep them satisfied and safe?
The biggest thing, again, I think, would be to read with understanding. It's a huge, huge part of computers. If you don't understand what you're clicking on or reading, it could be malicious. And if that's the case, then you can end up in a lot of trouble. So you need to be able to read with understanding, know what you're doing, and get you taken care of. But if you do become frustrated or you do become infected or something like that, that's when we can step in and help and get you back going.
Great. Brian, thank you so much for your time.
Not a problem. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. For more information, you can visit computerevolution.com. We'll have all of these details posted on ourquadcities.com. More Living Local is after this.